The concept of privilege and the many different ways we benefit from it are now part of a wider cultural conversation more than ever. Yet some forms of privilege are perhaps easier to overlook. Access to green spaces is a basic human need, yet recent statistics published by the ONS show that in many areas, access to these spaces is rather limited. In London, for example, 1 in 5 households have no access to a private or shared garden, compared with 12% of households across Great Britain. I'm relatively lucky to live in an area that has plenty of green space all around, and this has proven benefits for mental health. Time and time again, studies have shown that the risk of serious mental illness is generally higher in cities in comparison to rural areas. Thus, it is unsurprising that some NHS trusts have introduced a concept known as green social prescribing, where patients are given nature-based interventions and activities which is said to improve mental health outcomes. Yet aside from benefits to mental health, the preservation of these spaces is essential in tackling the growing threat of global warming, as by 2070, summers may be 38% drier and up to 4.9 degrees hotter. Urban areas will be adversely affected due to the urban heat island effect. Green spaces are imperative in reducing this impact by deflecting radiation from the sun and releasing moisture into the atmosphere. Yet even in my local area, threats to these green spaces have been rife, especially due to local development projects. Take this warehouse for example. Despite disputes and backlash from our local community, it was still built, despite the fact that upon the land, a Neolithic henge was discovered. Now the view has been blocked, a large amount of wildlife has been destroyed, and so has an important part of our heritage. This is just one example of corporate needs taking precedence over the environment, and it highlights the urgent need for better environmental protection and consideration of historical and ecological significance when making development decisions. As it stands, since 1988, just 100 companies have been responsible for 71% of global greenhouse gas emissions. To safeguard our green spaces and preserve our environment, we must collectively advocate for sustainable development practices where the protection of nature is prioritised alongside economic interests.